Good evening, folks. Welcome to another edition of Curveball Combos with your boys at Carolina Curveball. Got a lot to unpack for you tonight. Going to talk about conference tournaments, week 13 of the college baseball season. But, boys, most of all, conference tournaments are on the rise, which means regionals are on the horizon. And guys, we're not going to have too many more curveball combos because the season is coming to an end. It feels like it was last week. It was Valentine's Day weekend, and baseball was here. I remember doing all the preseason stuff. Braxton, me, you, Reed, Colby going through all the transfers and talking about transfer portal classes and all this and that. And here we are. We got one more week of conference play before conference tournament starts. And boys, it's been a fun ride. Braxton, Reed, from all of us, we all want to say thank you. We hit 3,000 on X today, which was a major accomplishment for us. Excuse me. Been a big milestone. Braxton, Reed, myself, Colby, all of us, we put a lot of time into this, put a lot of effort into this, and we love that. You guys love the content. We love the support. So just wanted to get that off first. And boys, if you got anything to say as we start up, please, you have the floor.
Yeah, you said it best. You hit the 3,000 followers, a big milestone, like you said, for us. I never thought we could have got here, and we're going to continue to work hard and continue to grow with you guys. So, but yeah, I mean, it seems to go quicker every year this season. We're 1 week out. Obviously, this weekend was busy. A lot of moving parts with Mother's Day and graduations and things of that nature. So we'll have another week here with some big series coming up, and then obviously midweeks tomorrow. A lot of scratches, a lot of cancellations there too. But we will see how it all plays out, and then we will get into conference tournament play, which I'm very excited about. Conference tournaments in some cases are kind of dying out, but at the same time, they're so important for. I mean, obviously they're important for the mid majors because most of them have to win their tournament to get in. But even these Power Four tournaments now, where like it's basically a chance for teams to build on their resume and get a couple more conference wins at the end of their season. But you look at the ACC and the SEC especially. I think those games are very important for so-called bubble teams. And I think Reed can speak more on that. But like, it's a big 2 weeks here. I mean, obviously it is because the season's coming to an end. And you want to play yourself in, but I think people want to get rid of conference tournaments and stuff, and I think it still is probably one of the best weeks of the season.
Yeah, I mean, like y'all both said, thank you everyone for the support for getting us to 3K today. But I mean, this is the best time of the year. I mean, I just love this time of the year, conference tournaments, and then rolling right into regionals. I mean, there's no better time. I mean, it sucks that this is the last week of the regular season, but there's a lot to play for a lot of these teams coming up here these final 2 weeks.
It is kind of crazy because baseball season begins when football's still going on. I mean, the Super Bowl is still kind of, I would say, at the start of baseball season. Then you have college basketball, March Madness. Baseball goes through that, goes through the Masters. I mean, it is a long season, but then we get here and you're like, it's over, and it's like we're basically here at the end of it, and it is sad. And like you said, Braxton, lots of moving parts this weekend with Mother's Day, graduations. All of us had things of that nature. So we are going to recap week 13 right now. As we go, we will discuss conference standings for each game as well as kind of a conference outlook for the tournament. Me and Braxton will touch on those because we were looking pre-show about conference tournaments. So we will begin with that. And to start off, Wake Forest sweeps Western Carolina. I know there was some chatter on our show last week of could Western Carolina take a game, and we definitely thought they could, but Wake Forest takes care of business pretty handedly. Wake Forest wins 6-1 the first game, 14-2, and then 9-5. And it says here on the sheet, I wasn't able to watch this game, but it says Wake scored 8 unanswered after being down 5-1. But Braxton, I think Wake Forest is a good baseball team, and they're playing really good baseball right at the right time.
Yeah, they absolutely raked this weekend. Dalton Wentz, um, Luke Costello had very good weeks for them. We've talked about Wake. I mean, they've got really good talent on both sides of the ball. It's just a matter of can they put it together, and I think they're getting hot at the right time. I think that's a team that, I wouldn't put them necessarily. Reed, do you think they're on the hosting bubble, or are they still a strong two? Because I know they're ranked in the ACC right now, but
yeah, I mean they've certainly they have an opportunity to host. I mean, with the way I just go back to a few weeks ago when they choked up against Georgia Tech and everything like that. And, the season really could have really catapulted them down the drain. And they've responded in a really good way. They have a big one tomorrow at Liberty. That will certainly help their RPI if they can win that. And then, I think they'll crush Duke this weekend. I mean, I would think they would have to probably get to the ACC semis and then win 3 out of 4 this week. And then obviously they're probably going to need a little help with some of the other teams that are right there on the hosting picture. But, Wake would be a scary too in any regional. And I mean, I've really enjoyed watching them here the past few weeks.
Yeah, Wake Forest is not a team you want to see on that 2 line in a regional. No, they didn't play an ACC series this weekend, but they sit at 14-13 in the ACC, 35-17 overall. And Reed, how many games in a row has Wake Forest won?
Let's see. Is it 8 now?
7.
7?
Closer. Okay. They've won 7 games in a row.
Yeah, just on a Western side, you mentioned it. We were talking about last show, would they be able to win a game down here? Their RPI was in a pretty decent spot. They were kind of like an outside chance as an at-large team. Certainly now they're going to have to win the SoCon in 2 weeks or next week if they want to get into the tournament.
And I think that Western is an interesting situation because, Braxton, we were talking before the show of what goes on in the SoCon because right now you have a tie for first in the SoCon between Mercer at 12-6 in the conference. But on the SoCon website, Mercer is above them because they have higher overall win percentage. Mercer is 39-13, Western is 32-20. But Braxton, what is the kicker in all this?
Yeah, Western swept them, right?
Western swept Mercer earlier this season. So it begs the question of what is the tiebreaker? I looked online. I could not find it personally.
It must be overall record for this league.
I don't know. I'm looking at Diamond right now, and it has Western above Mercer.
And then if you go to 11.7, like Braxton's saying,
and the SoCon site both have Mercer as the 1 right now. So, but the nice thing is there's still one more week because I know Western plays UNCG and I don't know who Mercer plays, but it could work itself out here
at Eastern Tennessee.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll probably work itself out. But I certainly believe that if there is a tiebreaker, it should be first head-to-head and then overall record. I think that's the right way to do it in terms of in-conference tiebreakers. I mean, both teams, both the 1 and 2 seeds will get a bye, so it's not going to matter too much. But it could matter if they end up playing each other. So,
Tobin, is Mercer an at-large team?
I would say no as of right now. I mean, their RPI has really risen the past few weeks.
38 right now.
With the way the bubble is,
yeah, they're up.
38, Tobin.
Yeah, I mean, like Braxton says, I mean, just the bubble teams are just not helping their case. But I look at Mercer; they don't have a single quad 1 win. They have a huge chance though tomorrow night. They play Georgia Tech tomorrow night.
Oh wow!
So if they win that, I mean, we might be having a different discussion.
That would put them at 40 wins.
Yeah, I mean, that'd put them at 40 wins. I mean, and that would probably shoot them up another 5 or 6 spots in RPI. So I don't know. We'll have to see how tomorrow plays out. But nevertheless, I mean, the SoCon tournament next week is going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun indeed. To move on, well, to keep it in the to move on, but to go to the ACC. Braxton, Heels sweep Pittsburgh, take care of business. Heels are currently still 2 games behind Georgia Tech in the ACC. And Reed, what does this kind of off Carolina? What does this kind of do for Pitt? They're done, correct?
Yeah, Pitt's gonna have to win the ACC.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably win the ACC tournament. I think they're 10-8, 10-17 now in conference play.
Okay, yeah. But Braxton, on the Heels, how they look this weekend?
Yeah, they look tremendous. I thought they pitched the ball really well. Same old for the Heels that they've been all year. Good defense, good pitching. Did enough offensively as well. Glauber had 2 appearances. They moved him back to the bullpen. Folger Boaz was moved back to the starting role, and he probably had his best start of the season yesterday. He struck out, I want to say it was 8 in 4 1/3. He looked really good. And then when you can maneuver that rotation like that and put Glauber in the pen, I think they realize they want to put Glauber pitch him in more games. Like he came in twice this weekend and completely shut the door. I think that's a huge key. To have him and McDuffie available like game after game is just it's unfair almost. Like those 2 arms out of the pen have been unreal for them. So I think it's a plus that you get this kind of start out of Boaz this late in the year, that you can really trust him going into the postseason, because now you've got just absolute weapons out of the bullpen that you can go to for Scott Forbes. And Carolina's sitting at the 2 seed right now in the ACC tournament, so they get the double bye. They currently play the winner of 7 seed Virginia, who would play the winner of Stanford and Clemson. So definitely, wanting to make some noise in that tournament. They won that tournament last year in Durham. They're looking to repeat it in Charlotte this year, and I would love to see a North Carolina Georgia Tech rematch, maybe in the championship. That'd be really cool.
South Carolina has now lost 8 in a row, drops the series, gets swept by Alabama. Was tied in I forgot what game I was watching. It was Saturday. They were tied for a little bit. Then Alabama just busted it open. But Reed, do you have anything to say about South Carolina?
No, I mean they're just waiting for their 1 game in Hoover next week for the season to be over and just forget about it. I mean, they're now 7-20 in the SEC, showing no life. And I mean I could see them finishing last. I mean Missouri had a nice series win against Vandy last weekend to put them at 6-21. But yeah, I mean all eyes. They just will be on the coaching search here in a few weeks.
They currently would play at Oklahoma in Hoover on Monday, and then they would have to go through Mississippi State and Texas. So
there's no point of even showing up in Hoover for them.
I don't mean to rag on South Carolina, but just some teams ahead of them in the RPIs. They sit at 111. Florida Gulf Coast, Lamar, Memphis, Little Rock, UT Grand Valley. Charlotte is above them in RPI, and they play in the SEC. I mean, it's just a season to forget for the Cox.
Their first ever 30 loss season too.
They didn't lose 30 games last year.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I had to double check it. Yeah.
Jeez, that's bad. Moving on to the A10. Fun fact, guys. Colby let us know this in the chat last night. Rhode Island scored 17 runs each game versus Davidson and went 2-1. Davidson today scored 3 touchdowns to beat them by 4 runs on Sunday. Excuse me. But this puts Davidson. Let me see. Davidson is now sitting tied. There's a 3-way tie for second place in the A10 right now at 17-10 between Richmond, VCU, and Davidson. St. Joe's has clinched the regular season for them. Player of the week from Davidson as well, too, Braxton, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Anthony Torreso, his stat line was crazy, 8 for 12. Wow. They only played 3 games this week, and he went 8 for 12 with 4 homers, 2 doubles, and 13 RBIs in those 3 games against Rhode Island. So not only did Rhode Island score 17 runs in every game, but I think Davidson scored. Did they score 10+ in every game? I mean, they're all
No, they scored 7, I think, on the
okay.
Saturday.
Well,
They
the
blew
other
it.
2 games, they put up a 20 bomb and then like
Yeah. Yeah, they
another.
lost. They blew a 10-3 lead, I know, on Friday night.
Yeah, so they currently sit as the 4 seed right now in the A10, which means if it were to end right now, they would play George Mason and then would then get matched up with St. Joseph's, the 1 seed. So we'll see how that shakes out. But I don't. Did they play St. Joseph's this year? I don't remember them even.
I can't remember, but Saint Joseph did lose the series to VCU this weekend.
Okay, but they're still
Um,
clinched, like Jason said.
yeah,
So,
yeah, they clinched like 2 weeks ago.
I mean,
No, they did not play.
the
St.
Davidson
Joe's did not play Davidson, no.
No.
the Davidson offense can definitely hit with any of these teams, I think. So it's just going to
Yeah.
depend on how they pitch it. I mean, we know they've got Cooper Cavanaugh, who's been a decent arm for them. I think Ed Hall is an older arm that's had some decent starts too. So maybe they can do something. That is a double elimination tournament with 6 teams making it. So they will probably definitely make it. I'm assuming they might have even clinched already, but hopefully they can make some noise in the A10.
Speaking of making some noise, Old Dominion made some noise in the Sun Belt with taking the series versus Coastal Carolina, reading an absolute shocker, knocking them from the Carolina Curveball #1 ranking. Read, just what in the world went down in Coastal?
Yeah, they're really reeling right now. I thought after the thumping that they gave to the Heels, literally just a week ago, that that was all they needed, and they'd catapult to the finish line here. And then they lose a game to Georgia Southern last weekend, who was terrible, and then that they lose to Clemson on Tuesday in front of a huge home crowd, and then against a really struggling Old Dominion team. Fluky, since his first start when they had him on, just where they let him go 2 innings, he's really struggled. I think he's got over in his 3 starts now. He has a +8 ERA. He's struggled to locate pitches. Teams are just really hitting him well. And then, offensively, we've touched on it. Coastal's really struggled, but I mean, they continue to deal with injuries too on the mound. They've been one of the most hurt teams all year, but the way they're playing right now, they've played their way out of a host. I mean, certainly they could still win the Sun Belt regular season, win the Sun Belt tournament next weekend, and I think that'd probably be good enough to host. But I look at their series this weekend at Louisiana. And I think that's going to be a big challenge for them, and especially with the way Southern Miss has played the past few weeks. Now only a game back.
And speaking of Louisiana, they beat App State in the series. We'll get that in a second. But first, let's talk about Wofford taking the series versus ETSU. They do not sweep them, but this is big for that conference's seeding implications. Excuse me, because of this series win, Wofford jumps ETSU in the conference standings. Wofford sitting at 11-17 right now, currently on
11 and
that
7.
11-7.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. 11-7, currently putting them on the 3 seed. ETSU sitting at 10-8, and Sanford also right there at 10-8. So big series win here for Wofford. Braxton, they move to 33-18 on the season.
Yeah, I think it's a definitely a big series win for them. Kind of that. I would say ETSU is still a top 4 SoCon team, so to kind of edge them there here in this weekend is huge for Wofford. It'll give them confidence going into that tournament. And as of right now, if that tiebreaker thing is true, all 4 Carolina teams are on the same side of the bracket in the SoCon tournament, which is really interesting. So we'll kind of be beating up on each other if that's the case, but it can all shift around here after this weekend. I think Western could end up getting the 1 seed if they have success against UCG. But I think we'll talk about them later. But the Citadel is another team to watch out for in this tournament as well. I think the SoCon top to bottom is just tremendous this year. I mean, we've talked about it all year, but like when VMI is probably the worst team in there, like that's a good conference. Like everyone in here can beat everyone. I feel like so. It's gonna
There's only one team in the SoCon below 500 overall.
Is it VMI?
Nope.
UNCG.
UNCG.
They're on
But
fire though right now.
I know they're playing well, but it's just bizarre to look at VMI. VMI is 27-23, but 3-15 in SoCon.
Yeah,
that's absurd. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. They did have the easiest non-conference schedule of all time.
They put an easy schedule, but
that's right, Tobin. Tough one here for App State. We were rooting for them to make a push for that 2 seed. Don't think it's going to happen now, as they drop the series to Louisiana. Currently looking at App's schedule right now. They finished
at Georgia State.
At Georgia State. Georgia State towards the bottom of the conference at 12-15, but tough here for Georgia. Tough here for App State redropping that series. It was tied 1-1, then lose the rubber match 12-3 and just get handled pretty easy.
Yeah, on Friday night they were down in that game, and then they rallied to tie that up late. But unfortunately, Louisiana pulled that one off, and then they responded a good way on Saturday, but they were just outplayed thoroughly yesterday. I still like this team a lot. I think they can still make some noise next week too. And Louisiana's a good team. That would have been a really good series win for App. Louisiana's got a really high RPI right now. We've seen them beat up on some SEC teams too this year. I think that you just forget about that and you go out and take care of business against Georgia State this weekend. They can still get the 3 seed and be in a good spot for next week.
Speaking of not good RPIs, Bradley taking a game versus Campbell. Bradley's RPI is currently at 288, and they drop a game, and Campbell drops a game to them. I'm pulling up Campbell's schedule right now to read off the games that. So they beat Gardner-Webb in their first game Saturday, 11 a.m., 11-9, and then they run rule Bradley later on Saturday, 14-3 in 7 innings. But then Braxton, they turn around and lose to Bradley on Sunday, and that gives Bradley their 10th win of the year.
Yeah, definitely a surprise. I'm not really that worried about it though. I think, it's not like it's Campbell's clinched up the CAA. Yes, it's a bad loss, but it's one you can just flush kind of because you're going to be the 1 seed in that tournament. You're probably going to play UNCW or Charleston in there, who you've been able to handle this year as well. And like I said, I'm not that worried about how many games in a row did they win before that. I think it was
11.
Yeah, like they were on a run, so they were kind of due for a loss. But Bradley is a bad loss. Don't get me wrong; it definitely hurts their RPI in terms of like any sort of at-large chance, which I don't think they had in the first place. But they're gonna have to win this conference, which they are 23-4 in. So you've got to be confident that you're gonna win the conference here. Jet Music had 4 home runs again this week. That kid just continue. Whenever he has a good week, he hits like 4 or 5 homers. It just happens every week for him. So he's been absolutely impressive. Rosal had another good outing for them as well on the mound. So they're fine. I'm not going to put too much value on that loss.
Yeah. Also, I'm looking at the box score right now. In Boiling Springs has the attendance 72 people at this game.
I know Jet Music was at the plate with a runner on second in that 5-4 loss yesterday.
Mason Smith, who's been pretty solid for them this season, pitched this game, got the loss. He pitched 5 1/3, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 7 Ks, 2 walks. So tough outing for him. But like Braxton said, they're going to be able to bounce back without a doubt. Another surprising one was Charleston Southern sweeping Longwood. Reed, I don't think this was on none of our bingo cards.
No, certainly wasn't on mine. But Alex Murat on Charleston Southern this weekend, he was a big reason why for the sweep. 9 for 14, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs. Absolutely huge week, and with this sweep too. After Winthrop getting swept, this moves Charleston Southern up to the 2 seed now in the Big South.
3.
3.
Oh,
They
are they
might
3 up to
be
3?
They're one
okay,
game back.
back, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Whoops, my apologies.
You're fine, brother. One game back.
Especially with the
Let
way
me
Winthrop's playing,
see.
though. I
We
mean, you
did
got to
move them
like,
ahead of Winthrop in our rankings, though.
So
Yeah.
Radford. So they host Radford this weekend. High Point at Asheville, meaningless series. I mean, High Point needs to win it, but Asheville is all but dead. Presbyterian, Gardner Webb, Braxton. What's the deal with Gardner Webb? Are they out still?
I think.
Yes,
Yes,
they
they
need to. They need some help.
they need your help.
They would need to sweep, and they would need either Radford or Longwood to
get
drop
swept.
at least a game or two. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know who they play. We'll kind of sort that out maybe Thursday. But yeah, I think
Upstate plays Elon. Yeah, Upstate's conference record's done.
yeah.
So Upstate's in.
Yeah, Upstate clinched with a win against PC this weekend.
Correct.
I think Asheville technically is still mathematically in it too, but I think because they're sitting at 8-13 as well. But I find it hard to believe that either of those teams will be in the tournament. I think
Asheville will have the sweep High Point.
Yeah,
that's not happening. And Presbyterian goes to Gardner Webb and Longwood at Winthrop. So there's some work.
Okay, so Gardner Webb may have some life if they get some help elsewhere.
Yes,
they're going to have to take care of business against PC. So
correct. And to move to the American Read, what's up with this Charlotte resurgence here? They're back into the conference tournament because they hold the head-to-head over Tulane. So they're in at 10-4, but they do have to finish the season strong versus Memphis. And Reed, is Memphis the most bizarre team in the country? They beat the top 3 teams in the American, but then will drop a series to Athens Drive High School the following week. So it makes no sense, but can Charlotte turn around and to keep this turnaround going?
It certainly looks like it. Like I said, last show, they just needed to get out of the month of April. I think that was just the undoing for them. But, really impressive weekend. They destroy UAB on Tuesday. I think the final score, or on Friday, sorry. I think the final score was 20-2, something like that. And then yesterday,
yes.
Yesterday they showed great resilience. They blow a huge lead, and then that game goes to extras. But Alec DiMartino, he hits a go-ahead 2-run home run. That's a huge series win. We've talked on it. Charlotte has a ton of talent. They can easily make noise next week in Clearwater. They just got to get in, and it's going to be tough. We've seen what Memphis has did the past few weeks too. I think they just like to play the top teams. They hand UTSA their first conference series loss in over 18 series. But Charlotte's trending in the right way at the right time.
Correct. If Memphis wakes up on the right side of the bed, they're a dangerous team. Duke gets swept by Georgia Tech. Braxton, Georgia Tech's one of the best teams in the country, and Duke is just having a tough year. And Corey Mascarero's first season.
Yeah, this kind of happened as we thought it would. Georgia Tech absolutely took it to them. 42-8 now for the Yellow Jackets on the season. The clear front runner, I think, in the ACC, despite dropping that series to North Carolina. And yeah, Duke is now last in the ACC, below Clemson, as their overall record is 5 games below 500 now. Clemson up to 30 wins. So yeah, they're definitely ahead of Duke now, but tough going in Mascara's first year, like you said. They seemed like they were okay early in the season. Like I thought they had more talent than we initially thought. I thought they could be a dangerous team, but they have just kind of fallen off here. The last impressive win I remember them having was that defensive game they had against Carolina that they played really, really well and was able to get a low-scoring win against the Heels. And that was a few weeks ago. And since then, they've just been playing horrible, horrible baseball. I went and watched them in person at the Bosch, and they looked so bad. And then Queens beats them in the midweek. And then you go down to Atlanta, which you're going to get your tail kicked down there with that.
They nearly won on Friday night, though.
They did play well on Friday, but I just knew their pitching would not hold up.
Yeah.
Like
It's that lineup.
it was bad. So yeah, tough year for Duke. They're not going to do anything in terms of the tournament either. I wouldn't count on that. So of course, everyone does make the tournament now, so they will get to play a game in Charlotte. I think that as of right now, they would play State actually. So we'll see how it finishes up. But yeah, tough year for Duke.
Also, the loss of Cider Cannon was tough. No, I'm looking at it right now. When he got hurt in March, it said 8 weeks. He got hurt on March 1st. Said 8 weeks. So you would say maybe this past week he would come back, but
there's no.
But in my
with how the season's gone, I think they've just packed the can.
I wonder if he can get a med reg.
They definitely made a business decision. He did play in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 games this season.
I bet you can get a medical red shirt.
I'm hoping he's able to get one. The NCAA is giving these college basketball players 9th and 10th years, so they definitely can give Cider Cannon one more year. So unfortunate for them, but when players go down like that, other guys have to step up. Speaking of interesting in the ACC, Reed, UNCG taking a game at Virginia Tech and almost beat them, almost swept them on the weekend.
They played 2 games.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes, and then they almost won this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bizarre. Virginia Tech did not cancel this, considering where they were in RPI and their position right on the bubble. But you got to give a lot of credit to Greensboro. I mean, they've been playing a lot much better ball here these past 7 games. They've won 6 out of their last 7 games. You know, and you know, we talked about the SoCon. All these teams could beat each other. So I mean, you never know what could happen next week out of that tournament.
You never do know. Speaking of never knowing, you never know what Pirates are going to show up to the plate. East Carolina drops the series versus Rice, takes them out of contention for the number 1 spot in the American as UTSA now has it. UTSA has 16-8, East Carolina 14-10, goes to FAU this weekend and will stay down there in Florida for the conference tournament as well. But Reed, these Pirates just absolutely decimated from injury. Gavin Van Kampen out for the season. Colby Weber, I don't anticipate his return. And then, as it was announced, Sean Jenkins out for the season, which there's probably for them 2 weeks left. But just tough for the Pirates, just all around.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, they can kiss their at-large chances away after another series loss. You know, they just don't have the resume for it. I mean, obviously they would not shock me if they won next week in Clearwater like they did last year. But I mean, they, like you said, Casey, I mean, they are decimated at the pitching position. I mean, they have no depth left. I mean, you saw it on Friday night too. I mean, Webb was on his last life there in the 9th inning when they blew that lead, giving up 7 runs to lose that game too. And then, you know, you're just relying on hopefully Norby gives you an incredible game too. And, you know, he had 10 strikeouts, but he gave up 5 runs too. And the offense has been so hit or miss this season. So it's really frustrating.
It is extremely frustrating indeed, but they go to FAU to try to get a better grip on that 2 seed, and they would then play at 9 a.m. in the conference tournament, which will be interesting. Braxton High Point sweeps Winthrop. We kind of said that we're going to give the home team the nod here, and most of us pick Winthrop. Most of us pick High Point. I pick Winthrop, excuse me. And High Point just takes care of business, and they didn't clinch the 1 seed, correct, but they have a strong grip on it.
Yeah, they're probably going to be the 1 seed. A huge weekend win for them. Seojin Oh has been arguably like player of the year in the Carolinas. Like, he has 16 homers now. He just does it when High Point needs it most. I think they won on a walk-off in game 1, which really kind of set the tone for the series. Just kind of stealing that one because Winthrop played. I think that was the best game Winthrop played in. The other games seem to be kind of in control by High Point most of the game, but Caleb Hammond, Landon Johnson, Jake McCarter, all bats that had really good weeks as well as O. So they've got a lot of depth in this lineup, a lot of older guys too. Like it's not just these guys have been here. Some of them even played in that regional a couple years ago too. But I think most of that lineup is gone. But they've completely refreshed, revamped, and they look really good, man. So I think they're a strong favorite heading into the Big South tournament. Anything can happen. Charleston's we talked about all year that this is probably a 3 to 4 horse race with Charleston, Southern Upstate, and Winthrop being in there as well. So I'm just interested to see what happens in the tournament. It's just tough to pick against High Point right now. I mean, this team is just so talented, so good, and I think they can make some noise in a regional, quite like they did in 2024 when they were down in Clemson. So, exciting stuff from the Panthers.
Yeah, I want to highlight Co John O right now. He's going to win Player of the Year in the Big South. He's batting 364, 68 hits, 17 home runs, 55 RBIs, 35 walks, 37 strikeouts. I went to his personal page. Junior, 5'10", 240, absolute unit out of Anyang, South Korea, previous school, New Mexico Military Institute. These are his personal notes, 3 bullet points. Always wears headband, native Korean, loves Korean barbecue. Those are some pretty good bullet points there. What'd you say, Braxton?
Just a stud. He's also a great catcher too. Like,
yes,
that's part of his game that's really slept on because he's a great offensive player. But like, just what a get for High Point that kid's been.
He's been phenomenal. He has been absolutely phenomenal.
Have you seen his backflips?
I have not. No.
Dude, they're so electric. Like
they're epic.
When he gets at the top of his swing, he just lets it go, and then he does this little spin around third when he rounds third. It's amazing. If you haven't seen Seojun O clip of him hitting a bomb, get ready to see more for one, and go check it out for two if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, Braxton, I'm with you. I mean, if he does that in a regional, it's going to run like a wildfire.
He's going to be a household name after the regional weekend. I'm calling it. Yes, right. That's my bold.
Do y'all think he leaves?
Well, I don't know. It might be a draft year for it. Like he might be.
Fair enough. He is draft eligible.
Yeah, I mean those numbers are getting drafted.
Fair enough. Sure.
Actually, as a catcher, bro, like.
Yeah.
I need to look up his draft stock. Actually.
That's insane, actually. Yeah. Braxton, keep it in the Big South. Your alma mater takes series with Presbyterian, so big for them in terms of conference tournament.
Yeah, especially after dropping game 1. I was kind of worried after they did. I think they kind of blew a lead there on Friday, but they are able
5-3.
Yeah, they are able to right the ship. Max Kaplan had a complete game for them on the mound. Really good left-handed arm that has kind of been there for them over the last couple of years. He's a younger guy, but Jake Armsey had a huge week at the plate, kind of leading the way for them. And that's their veteran bat. He was there back when I was there. Just a stud at the plate. He had a huge midweek game against Elon, and then he had a good weekend down in Clinton, South Carolina, to handle PC. So they're sitting at the 4 seed right now. Which they would play Longwood in the first game of the tournament on that Wednesday morning slot. And then they would play, if it stays how it is, they would play High Point the next day. So that would be a huge matchup if they do match up with High Point or Winthrop in the tournament, which is, of course, in Asheville this year, not in High Point. So that is one thing to monitor with High Point kind of being the favorite. It's not going to be a home series per se for them.
Speaking of home series, it's going to be home series for Asheville, who Asheville just beat Radford. I mean, what? I mean, that was a shocker, Tobin. Yeah. I did not see Asheville taking the series versus Radford because, like we said all year, the Virginia teams have been playing better this year. And then they laid 2 big goose eggs this weekend with Longwood getting swept by Charleston Southern and Radford dropping a series versus Asheville lead.
Yeah, good for Asheville. They have the smallest of chances still to get into the Big South tournament. Obviously, they're going to need a lot of help next weekend, but that's a good series win. To build some momentum here to close out the end of the season for them.
Correct, sir. Next one, Braxton.
Yeah.
You're good, brother. Wish Corey was here to talk about NC State. Tough one here for NC State, Tobin. I was unable to watch this one. They were a little late. They were a little late at night too, as well. So they were playing at Stanford. But NC State, what does this mean for them, Tobin?
Well, it puts them right back onto the bubble. And we know what they've got this weekend coming up. I mean, they're going to have their hands full. But I don't think Braxton and I would move them out right now with just how bad some of these bubble teams are. But like you said, I wish Colby could talk about it. But Avon made some interesting decisions, but that I think cost the team winning the series this weekend. Not having Anderson Nance for on Friday night. That was a huge loss in a close game too. I mean, he's your go-to guy out of the bullpen, and not having him available was a huge loss. And then they win Saturday, and they started him yesterday too, wasn't that right, Braxton?
Yeah.
Yeah, they start him yesterday. I was able to see kind of the end of that game, and it was pretty close. It was 3-3 in the seventh inning, and then J.J. Moran on Stanford hit a go-ahead 3-run home run, and then they added a few extra runs to it. So yeah, I mean, State, I would think they need to win at least a game this weekend, and then maybe.
Well, I don't know, Reed, because here's the thing: is they're probably not going to be a top 8 seed in the ACC tournament now, especially being that they play Carolina this weekend. Now, if they take the series, then that might move them into, but that could honestly help them a little bit because it would give them an extra game in the tournament to get a win and help your RPI, especially if you're going to play a lower level ACC team, but it's still an extra game that you get to play and add. Like, you get what I'm saying? It almost would be better for them to not be a top 8 seed in terms of like you get an extra win under your belt.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you make there. If they finish, let's see, they lose 2 out of 3 to Carolina, that puts them at 14-16. Like you said, win a game in Charlotte against whoever it is, Louisville or Duke, Clemson, whoever they would play. That would give them 15 ACC wins. I mean, I see a hard time for the committee leaving them out with some of these other teams just really struggling severely on the bubble. With a lot worse resumes.
I definitely certainly wouldn't count them out this weekend either. They, them being in Carolina, they could easily, they'll pack that stadium out for sure, and it's going to be a big series for them and that fan base. So,
and like last year too. I mean, they went in the Chapel Hill. That game, the third game was rained out, but split the series too, when they were like kind of hovering around the bubble too.
Exactly. So I expect some fireworks this weekend, but if they do end up dropping the series, they will need to play well in Charlotte. I think that's key for the State team.
I would agree.
Speaking of playing well, we had some people in our comments today on our power rankings saying that the Citadel should be in, and I will say, Braxton, they were right on the outside looking in of power rankings.
Guys vote for them.
Yeah, the Citadel playing some good baseball right now, sitting at 8-10 in the SoCon, 27-23 overall. They still do have that phenomenal strength of schedule. But what's even more phenomenal, Braxton, is their pitching. I mean, Braxton, their pitching has been absolutely phenomenal. I'll let you touch on those guys. Will Holmes, Andrew Buffkin, and Trip Brown were just out this weekend, Braxton.
Those were the 3 names I was hoping you'd mention because they kind of have switched around their rotation and just thrown those 3 guys. Like, I think they just decided, let's throw our best 3 pitchers from the start. I mean, I remember when they played Florida State early in the year, Will Holmes was a starter, but they had, I think it was Coulter, and I don't know if he's hurt or what, but they had some other guys starting games that were having some success. So they have a great pitching staff. They've played a tough schedule. We've talked about their schedule all year. They haven't had as many wins as they'd like, but like this team's right there and can make some noise in the SoCon tournament. Now, they would have rather had a bit of a better seed than they do right now because they'll have to win an extra game here, um, rather than maybe having a bye there before you get to play one of these big teams. But I think they have enough pitching depth to deal with that and at least compete in each and every game they're in. It's just it's going to be up to that offense. Can they? I mean, their offense has struggled to score a lot of runs, even in these games they're winning. It like last week against PC, there was a lot of low scores. This week again against Sanford, they did not score a lot of runs. So I think it's just important that their offense shows up in the tournament, or they're going to have a tough time winning it. But their pitching will certainly keep them in games.
Their pitching will indeed keep them in games, and those are some guys you don't want to run into in a conference tournament if your teams like Western and Mercer and Wofford, who have had these phenomenal seasons. Then you turn the corner, and then there's Citadel pitching a guy like Will Holmes, Buffkin, and Brown, and you do not want to see those guys in a conference tournament. And the fact that they have three of them who can pitch at that level is, like Braxton said, very scary.
Yeah, and I'll just add, like, in these tournaments, you want to have. I mean, pitching will win you this tournament, and they've with Citadel's staff. I mean, they're certainly going to give them a chance too next week.
Speaking of scary, Reed, what's Clemson looking at their at-large chances?
They are officially gone. There was a little life, after winning the series against BC last weekend, and then going to Conway and winning big on Tuesday night. Rubber match yesterday, and Kanak was lit up. He gives up 4 earned, 8 hits in 4 innings. So Clemson will have to win next week in Charlotte. Bakich even admitted after the game he knows that's what they have to do. Just very disappointing season from Clemson.
Very disappointing indeed. Charleston Southern, College of Charleston, goodness gracious. College of Charleston sweeps Elon, takes care of business. Reed Kruger's playing some good baseball as the CAA wraps up. And then speaking of the CAA as well, UNC Wilmington does not sweep North Carolina A&T. A&T takes the last game. A&T is a trap game specialist. They've got some nice wins over some pretty solid teams this season. But Reed, just your thoughts as SoCon's coming to an end as the race to Campbell starts.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun next week in Wilmington. But Charleston, I'll give them. They're back to 500 now. They've really battled back here this last month. I've talked about it on prior shows that they've shown a lot of life. And they could make some noise next week. And I think it's still Campbell's to lose next week. And obviously Northeastern has really turned it on here recently. And then, you can't rule out Wilmington too on their home field with that pitching staff.
And to wrap it up, Braxton, shout out Queens. Taking a game from the first place team in the A-Sun, not just in the Graphite Division, but in the A-Sun. Really happy for Queens here. Was unable to finish the job as they get kind of handled here 12-1, but good for Queens taking a game versus North Florida.
Yes. North Florida probably a regional team too. They've had a lot of success in the A-Sun this year and are the favorite to win that. So Queens is right there, man. They're getting better. Not going to be this year, but they continue this trend. We could see them kind of competing more and more in the next few seasons. So, like you said, shout out to Queens.
I agree. We have seen improvement from them each season. So this begs the question, boys. I have for y'all. Reed, let you go first. Who won the weekend?
Oh, who won the weekend? I'm going to go with High Point. Sweeping Winthrop. To claim first place, to take control of the Big South. I think it's got to be them.
Braxton?
I like that, Chow. I was going to go High Point, but I'll pivot to Charleston Southern as well, kind of getting an unexpected sweep over at Longwood. I think that really kind of catapults them back into the picture in the Big South. They've kind of been quietly sitting there, kind of the middle of the standings in the Big South. They haven't really been as dominant as they would have liked to be against some of these lesser Big South teams. But I think they're right there. They showed that they can score runs again offensively, putting up 21 in one of those games. They're getting healthier. I think this is a team. They're back in our rankings too. Like they've kind of not really been in the rankings picture of the last few weeks, but they were earlier in the season, if memory serves me correct. So like them to get us a big time sweep, kind of a 4-0 week too. They win a midweek game in there too. So like definitely a statement week for the Bucks to just kind of get into the talk here, as Big South tournament approaches.
I will say I'm going to say that High Point won the weekend, but to go different from Reed, I'm going to give it to Charlotte. I think Charlotte winning these two series back to back has put themselves in a position to make the American Conference tournament and to make a run, because we have seen crazy things year in and year out in the American Conference tournament. We've said it so many times. A 19 win Elon team won it a few years ago.
Tulane.
What did I say?
You said Elon.
I need to go to bed, dude.
I think they were like 14 and 40 when they won it 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, they were like 14 and 40 when they won it, and then ECU they were the 6th seed, I think, last year.
Correct. So anything is possible in that American tournament. Boys, one last weekend. When do we want to do our next show? Do y'all want to talk about that right now?
Yeah, I think we're Wednesday with every series starting on Thursday. Me and Braxton will have another field of 64 out probably on Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning?
Either Wednesday or Thursday morning, but we will definitely, if we do it Wednesday morning, we can talk about it a little bit on the show. If we do it on Thursday morning, we'll probably just go over the midweeks that do happen tomorrow, and then talk about the weekend as well on the show. So we can do it either way, but yeah, there will be a new Field of 64 coming out after some midweek action tomorrow at some point.
2 more coming out, Tobin, and 3 more?
I think 3.
Let's see. Yeah, what's 3? Let's see. After this week, or tomorrow, then after this weekend.
You want to do it Monday?
Monday. And then with conference tournaments,
and then one after the conference tournament.
We'll do one Sunday afternoon whenever all the games wrap up.
Okay.
What would y'all be about if we did? Let's see. We did a conference tournament show next week, and then maybe a field of 64 one too.
Yeah,
sure. What day? Okay. Monday.
Yeah,
Monday
because they start Tuesday.
Yeah. Well,
do any start Monday?
I think so.
I don't see. The Patriot already started. Army got knocked out.
Gee.
But they just play series. I think it's a series now for the title this weekend. I could be wrong on that though.
I'm pretty sure the only one that like our team's playing that starts on Monday is SEC, and then a lot of them start on Wednesday or Thursday.
So I'm checking right now.
Do Monday night preview show for conference.
We're gonna want to recap the weekend too. So maybe we can speed run that a little bit and then kind of work, and then we can speed run the weekend recap, and then we can
maybe do on Sunday night with all the games are gonna wrap up on Thursday or on Saturday. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. That's a lot. That's a lot of shows back to back.
I'm checking the SEC schedule. Let's see. Starts on May 19th. What is that?
Today's the 11th. That's Monday.
Okay, so it's Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yep. So yeah, we'll have this planned out for you guys. Thanks for listening to our plan. Midweek Madness, last one of the year.
Yep.
Sadly,
let's run through it real quick.
Makes me sad that midweeks are done, and my alma mater decided to cancel it because of RPI implications. Reed, they have now canceled this game. 3 years in a row?
Yep. I mean, both teams certainly could use it for RPI.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure the logic there.
I'll run through these. The Citadel at Coastal Carolina, North Carolina at Wilmington. Is this Carolina's first road midweek game?
I believe it is, yes.
Which
is crazy. Yeah.
Clemson at Upstate, Wake Forest at Liberty. Sneaky good game there. No stream.
Not that I saw.
Oh, Liberty, you have
I would have a hard time. Usually, Liberty
yeah,
has a pretty good
yeah.
I looked it
broadcast.
up on
Liberty
ESPN.
has
I looked up Liberty on ESPN, and their next stream was this weekend against whoever they're playing, Middle Tennessee.
Liberty got way too much money to be not streaming. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, what could be going on in that game?
Exactly. William and Mary at Duke, Elon at Queens, Campbell at East Carolina, canceled, or makes no sense. Gardner Webb at Charlotte, Western Carolina at Presbyterian, College of Charleston at Georgia Southern, Winthrop at South Carolina. Braxton, what jumps off the page for you?
I want to see Upstate beat the Corps of Clemson. That's what I want to see. Just get a nice win going into your tournament. I want to see that. I want to see North Carolina at Wilmington will be interesting. That's always a fun game when they go to Wilmington.
Won't be able to watch.
Right.
Jeez.
Winthrop, South Carolina could be an upset watch. I mean, we're not even calling that an upset anymore, but possible win there for Winthrop. Gardner Webb, Charlotte should be a good one too. Yeah. Last midweek of the year, so hopefully it's some fun ball tomorrow. No games on Wednesday, so.
Wake Liberty is a big one, though.
Yeah, that honestly is the biggest one. So hopefully
I talked on Wake's hosting chances. Certainly getting a road win at Liberty would help. And Liberty is going to want that too. They dropped a series to Louisiana Tech this past week, and it dropped their RBI 5 or 6, 7 spots. So, yeah, I mean, that should be a good one tomorrow.
William and Mary at Duke. Would you call it an upset?
The way Duke's been playing,
the way Duke's been playing, but I'd say no. I'd say Duke will probably win that one. Get back to winning ways a little bit.
And I'm going to say it. Presbyterian will not beat Western Carolina. I've said, according to Case, and Presbyterian should be undefeated in the midweek this week, but this season, I mean, but they haven't performed for me. But Citadel at Coastal, like that one. College of Charleston at Georgia Southern. Winthrop at South Carolina. Curious South Carolina's motivation level. But yeah, boys, kind of a underwhelming slate for midweek, but
I mean, ECU came to what made it great.
Yeah. I they haven't played this game in forever, bro.
Yeah. Was the last time they played last week that crazy 17-14 game case in our senior year? Remember that game? Where it was just back and forth all game. I think that was the last time they played in Greenville. Was that crazy 17-14 game where they just traded leads all game and Campbell won
that was a
game.
bizarre game. Lawson Harrell was outstanding, and
yeah,
I still remember it to this day. Riley Johnson missed playing that ball in center field, and that kind of lost them the game. Crazy. Got a comment here from Charlie Chat. I want to show. Boys, thoughts on this?
I don't know. I mean, he just jumped ship to Winthrop. He might get considered if South Carolina is struggling to find someone. They could call him. I mean, they play each other tomorrow. I'm sure he has a good relationship with that program. He was always kind of a name that was thrown out there. Even back when Maneri got the job, I remember they were talking about McGuire being a possible name for that job just from playing there and being in the state of South Carolina for a long time. So I don't know. It's an interesting thought, but we'll have to see. I think they'll be probably going for someone else.
I will say, let's say if McGuire was like mowing down the Big South and they were like 24-1, I think there'll be some real conversations about that for sure.
I mean, even if they win the Big South, like
I agree,
if they win the Big South and make a regional, he'll be on a lot of eyes, and like at that point there will be some South Carolina fans. Like let's say they win the Big South and go and win, and they beat the 1 seed in a regional. Like at that point there will be South Carolina fans saying, "Get McGuire on the phone." Like, you know what I mean? So
I agree, 1,010%.
Yeah.
1,010% if they win that tournament and then win a game or two, or even if they win a regional, I wouldn't say you can shoe him in, but I mean he'd be all over that job.
Someone would be calling him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Boys, anything else as we wrap up? We just hit over an hour.
No, I think we're all good. I'm excited to watch the last midweek slate and excited to potentially go to a game this weekend. Right? I think all of us will be in attendance
On Friday for Colby's birthday.
Doak.
At the Doak. UNC.
Looking forward to it.
NC State will be a good one.
Should be a great atmosphere at the Doak. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
I agree. All right, fellas, I'm going to wrap this one up. Once again, guys, thank you guys so much for the support this season, the last 3 seasons. We hit 3,000 on Twitter today. We are right around 800 on Instagram as well. The growth there has been phenomenal. Braxton's done a great job on Instagram this season. Also follow us on TikTok. Braxton's done a great job there. Please follow us on all platforms, Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, join our Discord. It has been one hell of a run, boys. It's been a great 3rd year. Cannot wait for many, many more. Sad is coming to an end, but hey, when the end is near, the best time of the year is near. Conference tournaments and NCAA regionals. It is one hell of a time. Some of our favorite times. But that'll do it, folks. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Braxton. Thank you, Reed. And we will see you on Wednesday, 2 days away for our final week of the college baseball season preview. Good night.